Hello YouTube fam, how y'all doing? It's your Uncle Tim. How you doing, Timsters? This is Uncle Tim Reviews. How you doing? Look, I did a video a little while ago, and was it a video? No, it wasn't a video. I put up some pictures on the community page, and it showed prices for like McFarlane figures, and as a lot of people noticed, the prices were higher at this particular Target than it was probably at their stores. Like I said, there are a wide variety of Targets where I live. And this Target that I took the pictures at, that was the first time I've been there. Now, like I said, within my city, there's 87 Targets. Yes, 87. So I think I've been to close to like probably 40 or something of them. But what I'm going to tell you here is I started noticing between Walgreens, Walmart, Target, and a few other smaller stores, I noticed that the prices vary. I noticed that the prices can be $19.99, $24.99, $29.99. Then, for those mega figures, when I first bought that Mega Joker, he was $39.99. But I seen it for $47. In another place, I seen it for $49. Fam, I don't know if it's the store, the manufacturer, or what have you, but it looks like these prices are raising, and I'm trying to understand what the heck is really going on. It's like, man, he was the last holdout for a lot of us, whereas the price stayed steady. A lot of us kind of gave up on the other figures and said, well, I'm going to rock with McFarlane because he never let you down. He got a large variety of, toys and just accessories and everything else. And man, he do not disappoint with the figures. You look at the figure, you be like, yeah, I can see where I paid that money for. 22 points of articulation. Good sculpts, good color apps, good paint jobs majority of the time, and a lot of accessories most of the time. Sometimes you get extra hands, boomerangs, batarangs, guns, swords, no guns because of, we ain't gonna go there, but, just a whole lot of stuff. And, one thing I noticed that McFarlane Toys had dealt with a lot of was hate. Not hate from like fans, collectors, or anything like that, but from other toy companies. You had other toy companies hating on this toy company. Now, remember, McFarlane started off as a comic book illustrator. He drew comic books. Now, all of a sudden, he make toys. And majority of the thing that he do and that makes money for him are the toys. Remember, he still does those NBA figures, whereas, I used to have all of them. Now, because I remember I sold them all off, and, looking back, I was at a different place. You will be tripped out at the stuff that I sold, got rid of, because, again, due to space, and it's just real life here. Sometimes you got to get rid of things. But one thing I noticed about the McFarlane figures, like I said, quality. You get quality over quantity. But there was a lot of the quantity too. And you had a lot to choose from. If you didn't want certain figures, you didn't have to get them. You could pick up the figures that you wanted. This what was so cool about this particular line. And if he goes up with prices, man. So what would the regular figures be? $29.99? The Builder figure inside of the regular set, would that be what, $34.99? Fam, I was just looking at some of these wide variety of prices. At first I thought it was due to like tax. Certain areas where I live at have different taxes. So what I thought it was, I was like, maybe they trying to make up somehow. And I said, that can't be right. I said, hell, I just came from a store where this was $19.99. At this store, it's $22.99. Then at another store, it was $24.99. I said, wait, hold on. Then at another store it was almost 29. Then, don't get me wrong, GameStop, they know how to do you. But see, a lot of times GameStop can price their stuff the way they see fit. And see, this is where we left in a lurch. GameStop is the next evolution of a collector's dream, because a lot of these stores can carry a large variety of figures. Because they try, honestly, to find another avenue to make revenue off of. Because what's happening now, GameStop is suffering from one big thing that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people are going digital, so their games are on their system. And and a lot of people don't want physical copies because, that's the way of the past. But I'm one of those old heads where I'm looking at it like this. If you pay attention to everything, you see what everything is. It's just a lot. If you pay attention to everything that, goes on, GameStop is trying to come away from video games. Maybe action figures, far as specialty items. Maybe that's the thing that they're going to hit next with the Funko Pops and everything else. Because, again, like I said, video games, as far as physical copies, they're dying out. That's just the truth. You buying a game for $50, $60, $70, then all of a sudden, you trading it in for about $5 or $10. Most 20. Are we crazy? Fam, this is where they come in at. And I notice a lot of times they carry a large variety of McFarlane figures. And see, that's one thing when you look at GameStop, they're not dumb. They're smart. They're intelligent. They start noticing what the people want. They used to carry a large variety of Marvel Legends. Then all of a sudden, the prices went up and people started shying away from them. Then then McFarlane figures, as far as the DC Multiverse and Spawn and all of that, it reignited that situation and they start carrying more of those. If you notice, if you go into GameStops, you see a lot more of the McFarlane figures gracing those hooks than a lot of those other figures. They used to carry a lot of classified figures. But, like I said, in there, you'll run into the Cobra Commander situation over and over again. Lady J and Flint. And those Snake Eye Movies figures. Yeesh, man, come on. If he go up on price, I just throw the towel in at this point. If it's just not stores pricing the way they want to, I'm willing to throw the towel in, man. Because at this point, man, damn, no matter how bad you think it is, it gets worse sometimes with some of these toy lines. Now, the reason why I like Multiverse, Multiverse, Revelations. I like the Revelation figures because they're always on sale at Target. You can pick them up if you can find them in store, or you can find them on eBay where somebody's selling a collection or whatever, and you just pick them up. But fam, that's what I'm talking about. Accessible figures that you can buy. And see, that's what McFarlane was and still is to a lot of us. A lot of us gave up on a lot of these other toy lines around here, because they're sporadic with the way how they do distribution, the way how they send their merchandise, the pricing is crazy. But McFarlane, his stuff comes out. He shows you what it is. You can pre-order. Next thing you know, it's coming out the next month. Or if you're really looking at it, there's a lot of cool figures to choose from, fam. A lot of them. And I mean, he do not disappoint. See, that's something that you should do as a toy manufacturer. Produce toys. And see, a lot of times, a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people want what they want. And, that's cool and all. Fam, I'm just trying to understand this particular situation. And I'm really looking at it. There are certain figures that I have waited on to come out, and I picked and choose. Like I told you, Target has a sale on McFarlane figures. Just like Walmart has a sale on some of them. GameStop has sales on some of them, but Target has a good sale on some figures. You know, they had the future Batman where, you know, he had the coat on, the goggles, and, you know, those pants from the Batman, you know, from that Batman versus Superman movie. You know, it's just a lot. He's the holdout. I'm serious. You know, in the interview, he said, you know, he's gonna try to hold the line at a certain price. But sometimes even the people who want to hold the line and be that person for everybody, because you know, and if you notice why his was like the number one selling toy at the time, you know, he killed one of these years where he just outsold everybody. Why? And people don't understand why. It's on the shelf. It's easy to find. You can go to GameStop, Walmart, Target, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earths, Dark Side Toys. You can find this stuff there. And most of the time when you order it, it comes. So this is why he outsold everybody. You know, a lot of people say, well, he really didn't outsell them. Marvel Legends, you know, they're number one. But you know what? You can't be number one if there's no product. I think a lot of people miss that. If there's no product, how could you buy it? How could you sell it? One thing that he has over on everybody, he's a toy company that's being a toy company. A lot of people, he's a comic book, producer. No. Come on, Spawn, comic book, that ain't paying the bills by itself no more. This is paying his bills. He realized that. He understood that. He's not oversaturating the market with Spawn like he did back in the 90s. Trust me, I had all those Spawns back from the 90s. I ended up opening them and just giving them away one day. I had enough at one point in time because it got to the point where it was too much. It's like he didn't even understand. He was just putting toys out to be putting toys out. And a lot of them didn't work. What I mean were, he had damn near a combiner, a transformer, back in the day, Spawn type figure. Fam, see, that's when I say you doing too much. See, now he's bringing out the Spawn figure slowly. It's not like an oversaturation. He popping them out here and there. There's not oversaturation. Before it was. What he doing here, he's giving you the figures. He's giving you the figures you asking for. You know, he got this campaign, whereas if you send him thoughts on what you want, and if another people want that figure, he will produce the figure. You know, from the DC Multiverse. I'm looking for that, what's that name? Grifter. But back in the day when I watched him with Wildcats, Grifter, he had guns. He didn't have a sword. He had guns. And see, this is what I'm looking for. Back in the day, I wanted him to do the Witchblade. But see, that was my thing. You know, they let somebody else do Witchblade, which is Mark Silvestri. That's his title, his entity. Was his bread and butter at the time. But, you know, like I said, sometimes you got to let somebody who's doing toys do the toys. He even made toys for Youngblood, Wetworks, and all of them back in the day. They were pretty good. But see, this was back in the 90s. Just imagine what these figures would look like today. You get what I mean? See, now it looks like he perfected his situation. And see, that's why I admire him so much and admire this toy line, because it's readily available. Now, Target may always have Multiverse on sale, but they don't have the ones you're looking for. Now, I'm serious. You found a whole lot of things you're not looking for. You go in there right when they stock, you still find things you're not looking for. And that's my thing. This is why I like this line. It's been good to all of us so far. And my thing is, if he followed the same recipe, he will make a killing. He will keep making a killing. He will keep outselling everybody because consistency. Nobody else got consistency. Joe don't got no consistency at all. Super 7, none. Those figures come out when they want to come out. Multiverse, if you can find them, the ones you want. They don't sell, but you gotta find the ones you want. And that's just my thing. You shouldn't have to do all that. You should be able to go to the store and pick up what you want. And this is where he usually come in and he wins. And this is where he beats everybody. Fam, I'm just serious. I know my rants are some of the most, some of the things that people like to listen to, because I know most of the time people feel the same way. And somebody asked me a while back, they said, why do you rant most of the time? Why you just don't do the reviews? Everybody does reviews. But nobody ever tell you, or you never hear what you thinking. And I'm saying what you thinking. Man, we tired of the price hikes. We tired of figures we cannot find. We tired of people raising the prices at particular stores and blaming it on everything else. We done heard the pandemic excuse. Shit. We done heard the logistics and distribution and all of that. There's no truck drivers. We heard that just everything. And when you hear all this stuff, after a while you just get tired and you just say, everybody lying. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. When you come to that consensus and you feel it in your gut, trust me, they all lying. What's happening now is they creating a demand for their product, for they can raise the prices. But see, you got one lone holdout, and that's who that is, McFarlane. The Spawn Toys, the DC Multiverse. This is the holdout, and this is why these people are not getting the money they want to get, because of this one toy line. I know a lot of you all may not agree with me, but trust me, when you have one holdout, it stops the show completely. Now, I know there are big Power Rangers fans out there. There are big Marvel Legend fans. There are G.I. Joe Classified fans, Masters of the Universe fans, Super 7 fans. But fam, what I'm going to tell you is, DC Multiverse fans. But my biggest thing is, after a while, you start looking and start noticing who's producing, and he's producing. McFarlane is producing. And this is why a lot of these toy companies were hating on him in the beginning. And they still hating on him, because he's producing. You know what? They're asking why their merchandise is not selling. That's been one of the biggest things I've been noticing. If you look at some of the YouTube things and all of that, they're asking why their merchandise is not selling, these other toy companies. Guess what? You gotta have toys to sell. If there's no toys, guess what? You cannot sell them, fam. And that's what's happening. You can't sell something that ain't for sale. You get what I mean? I know that sounds kind of crazy, but if it's not on the shelf, it's not in a warehouse, it's not even being produced, how could you sell it? How could you ask for revenue for something that's not even in existence at this point? And this is why a lot of people are so frustrated. All those reissues of those old Toy Biz figures from the 90s, people say, well, those are brand new figures, They got new head sculpts and new this and new that. It's the same figure, fam. Just another head sculpt? Come on, really? This is what we doing? Is this how far we went down a rabbit hole? We just ignoring blatant facts that, you looking at that like, didn't I have that? I looked at some of them figures on the shelf at like a Walmart, and I was looking, I said, didn't I have this figure? Damn, it looked really familiar. I'm serious. Back in the day, Toy Biz overproduced figures for Marvel and all that, and it was called like Marvel Universe or something, and it was like it was a card, and it was the figure on there. They were producing so many figures that at one point, it was crazy. It was so much a backstock. They tried to find ways to package this stuff to get it out the door, because when KB Toys was around, they had these 3 for $10. They had those Spider-Man, those Iron Mans, and all of that Hulk stuff that you see that's a reissue. They had those 3 for $10. I remember that because I was picking them up back then. Fam, I'm just looking at all of this and I noticed we are being played. And if you notice that all of this stuff back in the day, Toy Biz was doing a really good job because Toy Biz did something that McFarlane did in the beginning. They produced toys and they made a hell of a lot of them. That's how you want it. You want to make sure that you have enough to go around. But see, a lot of these manufacturers now, they're not producing toys and they're not producing enough to go around. They're creating all these demands and, all of these hiking prices and blaming it on, recycled goods. And come on, really? Fam, thank you for watching. Till later. Peace out, fam.